Hey guys, how's it going? Today we got 3 more Trollpastas to listen to. All pretty lulzy and trolly in their own way, you know, it's funny comedy, spooky scaries on the internet that are not really meant to be taken seriously. Let's just say this last one, you're not going to believe what comes through that door. It is, whew, man. You're going to hear it. I kind of let it slip through. I kind of break the dramatic reading on that one quite a bit because it was so hard to read with a straight face. I kind of let a bit of the giggles through during the recording, but I tried to cut out as much of it as I could. I retook them a lot, you know, but some of these, you know, spooky stories just can't help it. So, without wasting any more time, let's get into Trollpastas number 2. You sit at the restaurant with your young son. He says he is hungry. You agree to get him dinner. You open up to the kids menu. Your child is far too young for adult food. Chicken Nuggers stares at you from the page. You don't understand. Your palms get sweaty and your son complains. He says he is hungry. Your mind strains, searching for an answer, in a world of swear potato and French fried. You try to order the chicken nugget, but you cannot. The words cannot escape your lips. Your son is hungry. He complains. The waitress stares at you, her head a spinning chicken nugget, her arms swinging French fried. Your son cries the tears of a chicken nuggetless child. In your mind you scream. It is a raining swear potato now. You have French fried engraved on your left temple, and you do not understand. Your son weeps in the corner. He is starving, starving for the chicken nugget. You watch as your son scarfs down nugget after nugget. He is satisfied. He loves the chicken nugget. You wonder if you could ever attain that kind of happiness in your own life. You quietly pay your bill and enter the street. Your son asks if you can buy him an ice cream. You enter Mrs. Myuu's on Jefferson Street, hoping to order a rocky road. You look at the menu on the wall. Chicken nugget, $3.50. Chicken nugget, $4.75. Chicken nugget, $2.11. Chicken nugget, $6.65. It goes on and on. You are confused. Your son asks again for the chicken nugget. He is full, but wants chicken nugget for dessert. You ask the woman at the counter for a scoop of rocky road. She doesn't know how to respond. You get desperate. You ask for vanilla. Her eyes widen. She motions her way for the telephone. You ask again. A scoop of vanilla? She picks up the phone and begins dialing. Your son asks for chicken nugget. You want to run. You want to scream. You look at your palms, and the lines have begun to form. Chicken nuggets. The phone the woman is dialing starts sweating chicken grease. Her eyes close, and she is ashamed. Ashamed that she, her customer, has caused such a problem. You want to run, but your son is screaming for the chicken nugget. You, sir, have just gotten yourself into a reality war. Are you ready? The waitress makes her call and collapses into chicken nuggets, grease rolling from where her body had stood. You look up to the menu on the wall, but the words have tumbled off the paper and have congealed as mustard on the floor. You turn to your son, his eyes flaming mirrors of your own reality. The rain has turned to hail. Currents of swear potato break the glass in the shop, and sirens yell in the distance. You try to cover your eyes, but your hands are no longer yours. They drip grease and melt into a familiar form. Your hands are chicken nuggets. You scream. Your screams fail to reach the greasy ears of the policemen as they stuff their faces with French fried, while you trying to dodge the downpour of swear potato. Your son now lays at the bottom of a pool of grease, chicken nuggers in his hands. He is drowning in the delicacy he has been lusting for. A swerve potato hits an officer, and he falls down face first into the grease, becoming chicken nuggers. You try to scream, but all you can taste is chicken nugger in your throat. You stick out your tongue, only to find it has become chicken nugger. A swerve potato hits you on the head, and you fall to the floor, unable to move your greasy body. Thunder rumbles, and the swerve potato downpour intensifies. French fried began to fall from the sky, covering the landscape in grease. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I web-surfed, weak and weary, over many a strange and superous website of hot chicks galore, while I clicked my favorite bookmark, suddenly there came a warning, and my heart was filled with mourning, mourning for my dear amour. "'Tis not possible," I muttered. "Give me back my cheap hardcore," quoth the server, 404. Pawn Stars is the most popular show on the History Channel. But supposedly, there was a bootlegged episode that bootleggers have been trying to get their hands on. But no one succeeded until one guy did. A person by the name of Mark Adson went to the Pirate Bay. The computer he was using at the library was recently infected with a virus, but he didn't know that. He decided he would download the latest episode of Pawn Stars. He kept looking on the Pirate Bay until he saw one called Dead Pawn. Mark thought it was one of those names that History Channel comes up with, or that it could have been a really early name just for laughs. So he downloaded it anyways, not knowing what would happen. When the video started up, he saw what looked like the normal Pawn Stars normal intro. Except that it was reversed. Rick began saying, "I'm Rick, and this is my death shop. I work here with Satan, who gave me the pawn shop." It took a lot to scare Mark, and he thought it was someone trying to prank him for wanting to illegally download intellectual software. So he continued watching. The episode started out with Chumley, the old man, Rick, and Corey having a conversation. Rick talks about sacrificing someone, and the other people with him take it as something normal, with Rick telling Chumley that he will kill him. Although Chumley takes it normally. Still, Mark wasn't aghast. He thought it was part of some morbid prank, or that Rick recently bought some weapon, like a gun or a knife, and was playing a morbid joke on Chumley. Unfortunately, it was worse than that. The episode then cuts to Rick working at a shelf. After that, the video briefly cuts to a picture of Rick, but he looked kind of cartoonish, with his eyes opened wide, and there was unmoving static behind him. The picture only stayed there for a second, but the noises were intensively loud, and that caused Mark to jump up, like when mattress sprains, for a split second. The video then cuts back to Rick, who finds someone with absolutely nothing to sell or pawn. Rick tries to shoo him, but the guy just stays there and begins murmuring in a low, demonic voice. After the murmuring ends, the screen cuts to one of those rainbow screens used to play back in the 20th century when TV stations went off the air. It shows static, along with different sound bits of blood-curdling screaming heard. At one point, the screen becomes wavy and shows a video that skipped a lot of frames. Eventually, though, it cuts to that clip. That clip was really the type of thing that Mark dreaded the most. It started off by showing Rick on the floor, clearly dead, with his intestines on his head, while Chumley was eating his heart and Rick's brains were wrapped around the old man's neck. Corey then goes to Rick's corpse and realizes what happened. He begins to scream at Chumley for no reason, although in a different language, so Mark couldn't understand what Corey was saying. Chumley then starts sprinting off towards a gun store. While at the store, Chumley asks for an RPG. The clerk eventually gives him one, and Chumley pulls out a pistol and shoots the clerk point blank, right in the face. The clerk's brains gush out, and Chumley gets away as quick as he could. When Chumley returns, he shoots Corey and the old man with the RPG. The camera then zooms in, as if trying to capture every detail of what remained of Corey and the old man, showing horrifying things like Corey's head, which had lay flat on the floor with both of his eyes torn to pieces, and located around the bottom. The camera then zooms into the old man, and you wouldn't even be able to tell who the old man was. His head was torn apart, his organs and his brains were scattered all over the room by the RPG blast, and also fire everywhere. After the video, there was a picture with unintelligible scribbles like actors replaced and dead. Mark is now aghast of reality shows, and has even quit watching some of his favorite reality shows, thinking they may have the same spine-chilling type of episode. That was Trollpastas 2, and that's it for today. Hope you all enjoyed. If you liked it, leave a like. If you disliked, leave a dislike, and leave a comment. Tell me how you think. Hope you guys have a good one. And I am out.